Okay, I don't know if it's relevant at all to be talking about journaling in 2024. I mean, hasn't everyone started journaling already, or at least figured out that they're not a journaling person? But if I were to follow that way of thinking, I would not be starting a new channel in 2024. So let's just get into the video. I've been journaling for, I want to say, around 10 years now. And so today I just want to share all of my super realistic tips on how it works. And before we get into the juice of this video, I just want to say that I am not competing for your attention on this channel. I am not going to edit this in a strategic way where I put a lot of animations and sound effects to keep you engaged. I want this to be a conversation. I don't want to be worried about that because I'm a video editor. That is my job, and I have another YouTube channel. And so I spend a majority of my days thinking in that mindset. That's not what I want to do here. If you want to go do your laundry while you're watching the video, I really recommend it. Let's just get into it. So I started journaling on paper, and nowadays I journal digitally. But before we get into the whole pineapple or no pineapple on a pizza discussion, I don't really think it matters where we journal. The reason why I switched to digital journaling is because number one, I can search keywords. So if I'm trying to find a passage I wrote about a specific person or a day, I can just very easily write that word and get to whatever things I wrote with that word inside of it. Number two, I can add pictures super easily without having to print them. Number three, my brain works very fast, and so when I'm journaling in paper, I feel like I can't write as fast as my thoughts are going. And number four, I hate carrying a lot of stuff with me. I don't want to carry a notebook everywhere, and if I journal digitally, I can just do it on my phone, on Notion. And so if I'm in the toilet or I'm having an existential crisis in the middle of nowhere, I can just type on my phone and then copy paste it to Notion or whatever. So here are my two, and yes, I'm just sharing two big basic systems that I've implemented in my journaling. Number one, quit the texts. Quit the sentences, quit the paragraphs, quit the grammatically correct mindset. I journal as therapy, as a way to put my thoughts down and understand myself better. And if I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's a great way to overcome that feeling. If I'm feeling sad, it's a great way to digest everything that's happening. And it's normal for our brains to get overwhelmed by the idea of writing a structured text. How am I gonna start? Am I gonna write Dear Diary? Should I put the date? When I journal, I just wanna vomit whatever's inside of my brain. That's why there's literally a journaling method called vomit. But I'm not gonna get into that in this video. So instead of doing this, I just do this. Most times after I've written like 5 or 10 bullet points, the bullet points will start to get bigger and bigger, and I'll naturally start to develop the things that are worrying me the most. So maybe I wrote 5 problems that I have, and one of them is actually the thing I want to write more about, and it like kind of naturally flows. But if you're still struggling to write and having a blank page of paper just really overwhelms you, I'd say just create a few templates or questions that you can have in hand, and whenever you do know you want to do it, you kind of have prompts to guide you. A few really simple questions are, how am I feeling? What am I grateful for? What's bothering me at the moment? And don't be afraid to write silly, stupid things. It's not like anyone's gonna read this. That is not the objective. And if you're typing too fast and there's mistakes going on, we're not writing a text. We are writing a blob. Venting is just super underrated, and human beings for some reason get this really relieved feeling whenever they are able to express their feelings into words. Like whenever we can actually explain something into words, it just makes us feel 50% better. I also find that it can be very helpful to put a timer, because sometimes I feel like, oh, I want to journal right now, but if I would start journaling, it'd probably take me like 30 minutes, and I don't have 30 minutes in the middle of my day right now. So just put a 5-minute timer on your phone and try to write as much as you can in those 5 minutes. Some people try to do it with like pages, so I'll try to write 1 full page every morning. So moving on into the second thing, why do we give ourselves such unrealistic standards? I have tried to journal every morning, doesn't work. I've tried to read every morning, meditate every morning. I've tried to put very strict things into my routines, and it almost never works. So maybe this is a very unpopular, contradictory opinion, but my second tip is to just not set a goal for yourself. For me, the urge to write is something that comes very naturally and that I do not need to schedule, because chances are if I schedule it, I might not be just in the mood that moment or day or hour, and so I'll create a negative feeling associated to journaling because I've been doing it a lot of times where I didn't feel like doing it. And since this is not something like brushing your teeth where you really should do it every day or something bad will happen to them, most habits fail because we think that in order to succeed, we cannot fail. A lot of times when we quit a habit, it's because we failed it 1 or 2 or 3 days in a row and then we feel like it's not worth starting it again. Building habits is not about not missing a day, it's about how many times you pick it up after you've left it for a while. It's like your friends. If you don't talk to a friend for a month because you've been busy, that doesn't mean that the friendship all of a sudden sucks. So those are my 2 tips. I do have some other thoughts I want to share that won't be as helpful as these, so if this is enough for you, just click out. A lot of answers in life are super simple and we keep trying to get more detailed and complicated answers because the simple things seem too simple to be true. I know this is super simple, but I promise if you implement these mindsets, you'll probably stick to journaling. So another thing is if you want to make journaling very regular, which I feel like might be contradicting with what I just said, but you get what I mean. You can associate it to another habit. There's this thing called habit stacking that a lot of people have been talking about because it was mentioned in the book Atomic Habits that went viral. So basically, if you want to implement a new habit into your routine, associate it with something else that you're doing. So you could put your journal next to your toothbrush because you know you're going to brush your teeth every day, or next to your toaster for when you do breakfast. Another thing, if you need motivation, you really want to do it, but you really don't want to do it, think about your older self. I'm such a nostalgic person, and thinking about not having anything written about the stage of my life anywhere, not knowing what was going through my head, what goals I had at the time, what stupid things I was thinking, feels really sad because I want to be able to look back at my brain when I'm like 6 years old to think what I was thinking when I was 21. So think about that as a little motivation. Another one, if you don't feel like writing, but you really feel like venting to an inanimate object, record a voice memo. I love recording voice memos. It almost feels like you're recording a podcast for yourself. You don't have to be writing because sometimes you're too lazy or too overwhelmed to write. Just record a voice memo, and then if you're digitally journaling, you can upload a voice memo into your journal, and so it'll still be there for you to go back on. And that's everything. I'm kind of worried that I didn't provide enough value in this video, but honestly, I just wanted to cut the crap. Journaling has made wonders for my growth as a human being, my emotional intelligence, my just awareness as a whole, and I just would like everyone to try it out, but without all of the freaking complications that people on the internet put. I am so happy to be doing this channel. I didn't want to like rant about this in the beginning because, you know, let's just get straight to the point, but this is my first sit down video and I have no idea how this is going to go. I want to edit like 3 videos before I start posting them. This is something I've been working on for over 1.5 years now, like writing scripts and making content calendars and working on branding because I do have a lot on my plate right now. I have another YouTube channel, I have my work, I have online college, but this is just one of those projects that I really felt I needed to get out of my brain. If you know me from my other fashion channel, then thank you so much for supporting me on this other little journey. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for every single one of you that has been watching this video till now because I know how hard it is to grow a channel. I've had one for 8 years. It took 5 years to take off. I was doing videos every week. So I'm very grateful. I love you, and I'll see you hopefully next week.